What if I told you the biggest secret about life after 80 isn't about health or finances or even memory? It's about something far more insidious, something that creeps in silently, often disguised, and can feel utterly overwhelming, something no one truly prepares you for. Imagine waking up one morning, the sun streaming through your window, a quiet peace in the air, and then a profound emptiness washes over you, a feeling that whispers, "Is this all there is?" That whisper is the unexpected, often unspoken truth of loneliness in our later years, a truth that can feel like a silent epidemic, even when surrounded by loved ones. In this video, we're going to pull back the curtain. We'll explore why loneliness can feel so profound after 80, uncover surprising ways it manifests, and most importantly, we'll share simple, heartfelt ways to find profound connection and peace. You'll discover how to transform those quiet moments into rich, meaningful experiences. And by the end, you'll gain a fresh perspective, a renewed sense of purpose, and perhaps a deeper understanding of yourself and those around you. But is it truly just about feeling lonely? Or is there something deeper, more subtle at play in the intricate tapestry of our senior years? What if the very things we believe about aging are contributing to this unspoken burden? What you're about to hear next will completely change how you perceive this issue.
Many of us carry a quiet expectation into our later years that after decades of building families, careers, and communities, retirement would bring a serene, fulfilling peace. We anticipate grandkid visits, leisurely hobbies, and uninterrupted calm. And for many, this is true, in part. But there's a common misconception, an overlooked issue that often blindsides even the most prepared among us. We assume that as our social circles naturally shrink due to life's inevitable currents, friends moving, family growing, or loved ones passing, that this shift is merely a sign of aging, a natural decline. We accept it as a given, almost a fate. But is it truly so? Research tells a more nuanced story. The AARP Foundation, for instance, highlights that social isolation isn't just a subjective feeling. It's a measurable state with tangible impacts on health. They found that chronic loneliness can be as detrimental to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Think about that for a moment. Not just sad, but physically harmful. Consider Martha, a vibrant woman, we'll call her Martha, who at 82 lived in a bustling community. She was a familiar face at the local senior center, always ready with a smile. Yet, after her husband passed and her children moved across the country, she found herself increasingly alone in her quiet, tidy home. She'd say, "Oh, it's just part of getting older, dear." But her heart knew a different truth. She wasn't just older, she was feeling a profound, aching void. Her once lively evenings became silent, the phone rarely rang, and even the joy she found in her garden felt diminished. We often observe these shifts in ourselves or others and simply nod, accepting the narrative that this is how it is. But a gentle observation reveals that true peace isn't found in mere quietude, but in meaningful connection, however small. It's in the shared glance, the knowing smile, the feeling of being truly seen. Perhaps you felt this way too? If so, the next thing we need to explore is, why do we often get stuck in these beliefs? What are the deeper roots of the problem? So, if it's not simply natural, what are the deeper, underlying causes of this pervasive feeling of loneliness, especially as we cross the threshold of 80? It's a mystery woven into the fabric of expectation, societal shifts, and perhaps even our own definitions of connection. One often overlooked factor is the invisible barrier of perceived self-sufficiency. We've spent a lifetime learning to be independent, to handle things ourselves. And as we age, there's often a quiet pride, even a stubbornness, in maintaining that independence. We don't want to be a burden, to ask for too much. But this very strength can become a subtle, self-imposed prison. And here's where a subtle yet powerful emotional twist emerges. What if the very people we expect to be there, our adult children, our grandchildren, are caught in their own whirlwind, unaware of the depth of our quiet yearning? They visit, they call, they do their best, but do they truly see the unspoken loneliness in our eyes, behind the brave smile? Do they understand the weight of a silent house after a bustling family gathering? Voice cue, slightly surprised, a touch of gentle sadness, then empathetic. Text overlay, are they truly seeing the unseen loneliness? Text slowly fades in, then holds as if pondering. A faint eye graphic might appear in the background. Voice, imagine Robert, a kind, gentle man in his late 80s. His children called every Sunday, his grandchildren visited on holidays. From the outside, he was surrounded. But one afternoon, as he sat in his familiar armchair, a curious thought struck him. He realized that while his family cared, they didn't truly understand the quiet monotony of his weekdays, the long stretches between phone calls, the absence of spontaneous, shared moments. He missed the effortless companionship of old friends, many of whom were now gone. It wasn't that he wasn't loved, it was that the nature of his connections had shifted, leaving an unfillable space. The profound thought, Ranley voiced, is this: true connection isn't just about presence, but about resonance. It's about feeling understood, about sharing not just space, but spirit. And in our later years, when life's rhythms change, that resonance can become harder to find, leaving a quiet tension, a yearning for something more. So how do we break free from this cycle? Don't miss the simple yet powerful steps coming next. And most importantly, how can we turn these realizations into real action for a better life?
The good news, the truly wonderful news, is that this quiet tension can be released. The yearning for connection isn't a burden, it's a compass pointing towards possibility. And the solutions are often far simpler, far more accessible than we might imagine. There's no pressure, just gentle invitations to rediscover joy. Here are a few simple, easily adoptable actions, habits that have transformed loneliness into genuine joy for many. Action 1. Embrace micro-connections. We don't need grand events to feel connected. It's about the daily small interactions. The quick chat with the postman, a genuine smile to the cashier, a wave to a neighbor. These tiny moments accumulate, weaving a gentle fabric of belonging. The Mayo Clinic emphasizes the power of these casual social interactions in boosting mood and cognitive function. Take Eleanor, 85, who used to dread her weekly grocery trip. Now, she makes it a point to ask the bakery staff about their day, to compliment a fellow shopper's choice of fruit. She told me, "It's astonishing how a simple good morning can change your whole outlook." Action 2. Re-engage with passion, not perfection. Remember that hobby you loved? That forgotten skill? The joy isn't in mastering it again, but in the shared experience. Join a book club, a gentle walking group, a knitting circle at your local community center. The Pew Research Center shows that engaging in group activities significantly reduces feelings of isolation among seniors. It's not about finding your soulmate. It's about finding a shared laughter, a common interest. Think of Arthur, 91, who dusted off his old harmonica after decades. He joined a casual senior jam session. He wasn't a virtuoso, but the shared rhythm, the camaraderie, the simple act of creating together brought a light back into his eyes that even his family hadn't seen in years. Action 3. The gift of the handwritten word. In a world of instant messages, a handwritten letter is a treasure. Reach out to an old friend, a distant relative, or even a pen pal. The act of writing, the anticipation of a reply, and the joy of receiving a personal message creates a profound sense of connection that digital communication often misses. Imagine a quiet afternoon, the gentle clinking of a warm teacup, the soft rustle of paper, the comforting scent of ink. You're not just writing words, you're weaving a thread of connection, a silent conversation across miles and years. It's a simple, timeless act that speaks volume. These solutions have transformed many lives, but what truly makes this video special is still ahead, a moment that will touch your heart. And now, let's reach that unforgettable moment where all emotions culminate.
We've talked about the quiet weight of loneliness, the subtle barriers we face, and the simple ways to find connection. But there's a moment that can change everything. A single, profound realization that can reframe your entire perception of aging, of connection, and of yourself. It's the moment you understand that loneliness isn't a failing. It's a signal that your heart, your spirit, is yearning for something vital, something essential. And the deepest, most powerful connection you can ever forge is with yourself. Imagine a peaceful evening. The day is fading, and you're wrapped in a sense of calm. You look back not with regret, but with profound understanding. You realize that every person, every moment, every sunrise and sunset you've witnessed has shaped you into this magnificent, resilient individual. The true freedom in aging is the freedom to define your own joy, to seek out the connections that truly nourish your soul, and to cherish the quiet, beautiful company of your own wisdom. You are not alone in your journey, and your story is a symphony of resilience and grace. This is the soul-touching line. It's the truth whispered from heart to heart. If this resonated, if this glimpse into the unspoken truth of aging has touched your heart,
Then I invite you to share. How has loneliness appeared in your life? And what unexpected joys or connections have you found along the way? Share your story, your small triumphs, your moments of quiet wisdom. Your words are a beacon for others. This video is more than just words. It's an invitation to shift perspective. How might understanding loneliness as a signal rather than a sentence change how you approach your days, your relationships, your very sense of self? What new possibilities does this insight open for you? Your story matters too. Let's build a community where every emotion is heard and shared. And before we conclude, there's one last thing I want you to know. An invitation for us to continue this journey together. So, what small step will you take today to cultivate a new micro-connection, to revisit a forgotten passion, or simply to acknowledge the quiet wisdom within yourself? Share your answer in the comments below. Let's create a mosaic of shared experiences, a comforting space where no one feels truly alone. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for spending this time with me. Your presence, your willingness to reflect, means the world. If this message resonated with you, if it offered even a spark of comfort or clarity, please consider sharing it with someone you care about. Spreading these messages of empathy and understanding is how we lift each other up. And if you're seeking more gentle reflections, more comforting insights into navigating the beautiful complexities of later life, I invite you to explore our other videos. You'll find topics like rediscovering purpose in retirement or the unexpected gifts of slow living. Your journey of discovery continues here.